Hello and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Friday, 21 March. I'm your host Daniel, and today we'll be covering London's Heathrow Airport says it's unclear when power will be restored. The majority wants a new Hungarian president, says opposition leader. And Germany seizes a suspected Russian shadow fleet oil tanker. So firstly, a massive fire at an electrical substation near Heathrow Airport has caused a complete shutdown of one of the world's busiest aviation hubs. The fire broke out late Thursday night, knocking out power not only to the airport, but to thousands of homes and businesses in the area. Heathrow officials announced that the airport will remain closed until at least midnight on the 21st, advising passengers to contact their airlines for further updates. Firefighters worked overnight to contain the blaze, while authorities, including counter-terrorism detectives, launched an investigation into the cause. The British Prime Minister and Energy Secretary said the situation was catastrophic, with Miliband noting that the backup power system also failed, exacerbating the crisis. The shutdown led to significant disruptions in global air travel, with at least 120 aircraft forced to divert or return to their points of origin. Flights from major cities such as New York, Perth, Lagos, and Singapore were rerouted to alternate airports such as Paris, Charles de Gaulle, Shannon, and Gatwick. The head of the IATA criticised Heathrow for what he called a clear planning failure, questioning why a critical transportation hub depended on a single power source without a reliable backup. Meanwhile, around 70 firefighters and 10 fire engines battled the blaze as emergency workers worked to restore power to the affected residents and businesses. So what? As mentioned in the article, the situation here is catastrophic for Heathrow, London, and the UK as a whole. It will likely have significant short-term effects on travel, tourism, and possibly the economy. Furthermore, it could potentially impact airline confidence in the airport in the medium term. Although there is currently minimal information available, it is possible that this incident was not an accident and may be part of Russia's grey zone operations against Ukrainian supporting nations. It follows similar patterns to other incidents in Europe that have been attributed to Russian intelligence. If this is just a random coincidence, then it's very unfortunate, but my gut read is that it's too coincidental to just be an accident. And next, Hungarian opposition leader Magyar has positioned himself as the main challenger to Prime Minister Viktor Orban, advocating for a shift away from right-wing populism. In an exclusive interview with Deutsche Welle, he emphasized his commitment to uniting Hungarians by combating propaganda and hate speech, while focusing on economic revival and restoring Hungary's ties with the EU. As the leader of the newly formed Teza party, he aims to address pressing issues such as the cost of living crisis and corruption, positioning himself as a conservative yet inclusive alternative to Orban. While he supports some of Orban's domestic policies, like child and family benefits and border security, he remains critical of the government's handling of the democracy and international relations. Magyar's foreign policy stance starkly contrasts Orban's, particularly regarding the Russian and Ukrainian war. He called on Orban to push for Vladimir Putin towards a ceasefire and reaffirmed Hungary's European identity, urging for an unfreezing of EU funds. Dismissing Orban's claims that he threatens Hungary's sovereignty, Magyar accused the government of using divisionary tactics to deflect from domestic problems. Despite concerns about his party's reliance on his personal appeal, he assured that his movement is broader, featuring a strong team of candidates. So what? This is the strongest opponent Orban has faced in years, and it seems possible that his reign will come to an end in the next election. Though hardcore liberals will likely be surprised by some of his policies, it is likely that he would bring a fresh change to the country and ideally reduce the levels of corruption. One risk that is similar to that in other countries when voting in a new government is that when the government comes in, it cannot make positive change quickly, and faces significant backlash as the previous ruling party can sit back and criticize. And lastly, German authorities have issued a confiscation order for an oil tanker and its cargo of 100,000 metric tons of crude oil, valued at approximately 40 million euros. The vessel, which was en route from Russia to Egypt, was detained in January while floating near the island of Rügen, raising environmental concerns about the potential risk of an oil spill. Officials are now assessing how to safely pump the oil out of the tanker while deciding on the vessel's fate. While details remain limited, authorities have confirmed that the ship is not allowed to continue its journey. The confiscation aligns with Germany's broader efforts to enforce Western sanctions against Russia, with the Foreign Ministry's spokesperson accusing Moscow of using such ships to circumvent restrictions on funding its war in Ukraine. German customs officials have not disclosed further details, citing security concerns. The seizure underscores the ongoing economic and geopolitical tensions surrounding Russian energy exports as European nations continue their efforts to limit Moscow's ability to finance its military operations. So what? This is almost certain to aggravate Russia considerably, though they can always get more oil. The loss of this immediate income at times of such economic hardship and the loss of the vessel to transport goods will annoy them significantly. Though this is just a short and medium-term effect, there is also the risk that Russia will always have in the back of their mind that if they continue to lose ships, they will eventually run out and lose their ability to transfer oil, their main source of income, during the war. I'll be keeping a close eye on how Russia responds to this seizure. Thank you for tuning in to the Intel Brief, your daily update on global geopolitics, brought to you by HM Intelligence. You can support the show by sharing it with your friends and leaving us a 5-star review. And if you're curious to learn more about intelligence, check out one of our courses in the description below. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you next time.